We have certainly tied ourselves up into a very complicated COVID knot in Ontario. On August 12th, the Minister of Education announced the reopening of public education in Ontario. I've heard from many parents, I've heard from many teachers about this education plan, the opening of schools. And everybody has concerns. First, parents are deeply concerned about the conditions of having their children in school. The mandatory wearing of masks in school, the lack of social interactions, the prohibition on extracurricular activities, the contact tracing. There's a significant number of concerns that have been expressed to me that cause parents to doubt the reopening plan, either because it's not safe enough or because it has gone too far. I've heard the same from teachers, but slightly different. They have those concerns as well, but they see this as how are they going to actually teach and educate our children when they are wearing a mask, when children and students are wearing a mask? How is their communications going to be effective? How are they going to keep students attentive? How are they going to know if students are attentive when facial expressions are masked and hidden? And also just the overarching concern that students are being taught, they're learning that to be close to other people is dangerous and risky. These are all legitimate concerns. And I don't know how you can unravel this knot unless we speak truthfully and honestly about COVID and about how we're responding to it. At that same press conference on August 12th, with the Minister of Education announcing the reopening of our schools, the Chief Medical Officer of Health for Ontario stated, and I quote, "If there was any risk, they would not be reopening the schools." So it beggars the question, if the risk is so minimal, if the risk is so low, why are we taking all these extreme precautions that will have grave and significant impacts on our students? I think it is time that we speak truthfully and honestly, but the government in Ontario clearly is not at that stage yet. I've put out a petition calling on the government to give more options to parents, to give more options to teachers, to give a greater likelihood that our students can be educated and can be educated in a good and proper social environment that is both safe, but also effective. In Ontario, the provincial government funds every school board on a per pupil basis of $12,500 per year. Every school board gets that allotment based on the number of students enrolled in their schools. My petition calls on the government to provide that funding directly to parents, so parents can make informed and good choices for their children's education. And whether that is to homeschool their children, or whether it is for groups of parents to get together and form charter schools. The direct funding ought to be going to parents to make those choices. You can see my petition on my website, randyhilliermpp.com. I encourage you to sign that petition, but more so than that, we need to get our province, our country, our communities back functional and back to normal. I call on you to pick up the phone or write a letter. Democracy requires people to be engaged. Pick up the phone or write a letter to the Premier, to the Minister of Education, to your local member of provincial parliament, but also to your local mayors and councillors. We need to be engaged, and we need to have people expressing their views, their concerns to elected members if we want to ever unravel this complicated COVID knot that we've created here in Ontario and indeed around the world. Thank you.